Hey folks, how you doing? So as you see, I want to talk about XM-18 3-inch for a little bit. I had it and used it for a while now, and it's not a long time, but I used it plenty actually, and I can give some honest opinions about it. Now, to make one thing clear, I do like the knife, and I really like and respect the knife maker. Rick is a really cool dude. I've met him a couple of times. I got the chance to talk to him a little bit. I know people who know him personally very well for many years. So I know he's a great dude, and his knives are not the hot-selling, hot cakes, whatever, the best-selling knives for nothing. They are what they are because they are really good. The build quality, the finish, the function, everything about his knives is superb. It is really good knife. What I want to focus this video on, everybody knows that pretty much. What I want to focus on this video is actually talk about a little bit my perspective, because my perspective could be same with some other people and might help them in their decision, like when they're looking for a knife and they really are ready to invest in high-end knife like this, an expensive knife like this, especially considering the secondary market prices. There's a couple of things that they might not realize until they actually get it or handle it. And I want to talk about a couple of things that I'm pretty picky on my folding knives. I don't need an expensive knife. I have plenty of knives that are not expensive, but they just fit my bill. And there's a couple of things that people will probably shake their heads like, oh, why would you even not a big deal. It isn't, but when I have the option to pick a knife and the knife is exactly what I want it to be, then of course I'm gonna prefer that over even the best knife in the world. So now, for example, one thing you know about me, I like my knives to cut and cut well. That's the first thing I'm gonna bring out. Rick's grind is actually very nice. It is a slicer grind. It performs really well, but still, for my taste, actually, it still is unnecessarily thick. Now, obviously, he makes his knives with the firefighters and police officers and stuff like that in mind. So it's given, It's like you need to have the strong grind because people will probably abuse their knives, or they should. Probably most of people know, because most of the people who have these knives, really, in reality, most of them are just collectors, not the heavy users. I think even the users will agree with me that they know that most of the people are just collectors that have such expensive knives. But nevertheless, the knife is designed for a hard, heavy-duty use. So that's why the stock isn't the thinnest one. I mean, it's not thick, but it isn't the thin stuff. And also the grind isn't crazy thin. It's grind that will withstand even modular abuse and stuff like that. Same goes for the whole construction. It's nice, strongly, heavily, good strong build knife. It's very good. You can buy those replaceable scales, whatever. Very nice feature, the lock. No matter what you do, the lock will not stick. Never. I've never handled any Hinderer that would stick, which is awesome. I don't know, some people might have different experience. I've never handled. I did handle a couple. Never seen anyone sticking. So that's awesome. Pocket clip, excellent, very good functional pocket clip with nice amount of knife sticking out that is nice to retrieve. One thing on this is the 3-inch slicer grind XM-18. One thing what I've noticed is the flipper on this one. I had that 3.5-inch before, and the funny thing was on the 3.5-inch the flipper was perfect. It was actually a lot more comfortable than the thumb stud. For some reason, I think the design or the way it functions, the thumb stud on the larger brother, it didn't work quite well. I think it was because it might have been a little too closer to this cutout here than on this model. But on this model, because it is kind of smaller, so your hand is in a little different position than on the bigger brother. To flip it, you kind of have that finger, and now it's really smooth, so it works perfect. But you kind of have to put that finger in a little awkward position. Not awkward, but not so natural. Like on the larger brother, when you have, let's say, your hand back here, and you just go kind of naturally here on the flipper. On this one, it actually is more natural for you to just use the thumb stud. Super smooth. It was a little, I don't want to say gritty, but it was a little rougher when the knife was brand new. But within a week of use, this thing is smooth as silk. Super smooth. Now obviously, like the blade, if you disengage the lock, the blade just spins freely in there. It's so smooth, it's really nice. I think he uses nylon washers, which I don't know, to not last as long as bronze, phosphor bronze, but are smoother. So that's very nice. Even you see the flipper, super small little action, and it flies out open nice. It's just like I said, I've noticed that it actually, I know there are non-flipper versions, and if I could change it, I would change it. I would have without the flipper. Doesn't really need it. I like that it gives a little feature of that safety, the really deep finger choil up front, but when it's in the closed position, it actually just gets in the way, that little knob sticking up. And other than that, beautiful knife. Another thing, but again, it's just me. I don't know if other people talk about it much. I don't see the reason of that front, this front finger choil. I have small hands, and even for me, it is too small to choke up on it. That corner of the sharpened edge, if I really push on it, it actually will dig to my skin here on the finger. So it's a little too small to actually use it for really heavy, close-up grip. It's good for this grip when you just kind of like a finger, like a trigger finger, like that. That's safe and good to use. But for regular choke-up grip, what some people would actually think about using it, it's too small. So it's something to keep in mind if you were thinking about getting this knife. Me personally, I don't know if a lot of you guys know, I like my knives, especially the folding knives. I want to be able to hold the knife in this position and have the cutting edge as close to my hand as possible. Now, a lot of the knives have the ricassos, finger choils, Spydercos are known for that. These finger choils here, because it's a safety feature. When you're closing the knife, you won't close the knife on your finger. It's kind of like two things at once. Close-up, choke-up finger choil, and also the safety feature when closing the knife. And I can understand that, it makes sense. Me personally, I don't really care about it. I want to have a knife to be able to use, in no matter what. So I'm not gonna be bushcrafting in a choke-up grip on the knife. I want to have that cutting edge as close to the finger as I can on these small pocket knives. My opinion, some might agree, some might disagree. That's also why I like this one. I have that edge right here. I can work with it, but even if I need to do some heavy work. And normally I don't like to do heavy work with the folding knives because it is uncomfortable. But if given the option, I do want to have the cutting edge starting as close to my index finger as possible in the regular grip without any choke up and stuff like that. Obviously the pocket flip is great. I love that feature of having up and down. That's actually one thing what I quote unquote dislike about Anso. It's only one way tip down, but you cannot have everything. But it's great that Rick does that. He also provides that little, as you guys know, the little like a plate that you can cover the hole after the pocket clip, which is really cool. Another one thing, and I'm curious to hear somebody else's opinions and experiences from it. I guess from what I heard, this is supposed to be the Duratec C20 or what's that steel. It doesn't hold really well edge. I gotta be honest, it doesn't. It will dull pretty easy. Definitely dulls faster than some other stuff that I have. Even the lower grade steels. I mean, even now, this knife is not sharp. I strapped it a couple days ago and I just use it on a regular basis, the regular like day stuff. Most of the time it's just opening boxes. And it's not sharp. I don't know why is that. Maybe it needs to be worn out a little bit more, maybe removed some, maybe the metal was a little overheated. And that nice fine edge, it just didn't hold to begin with. So I'll see with the use, if I resharpen it, how it will hold up. But gotta be honest, it doesn't hold great edge. It did dull pretty quick, rather quick. It was very easy on the beginning. I just strapped it and came back up. So, but it should. I think the good steel like that should hold the edge a lot better. But love the size, ideal size. Actually, for a lot of people love these knives because it is not big. It's not too small. It's just like good, very comfortable, good EDC type of blade. Now, wouldn't be most comfortable for just leather grip, obviously, joking. not the grip that you really need in the folding knife. But excellent knife, beautiful construction, beautiful finish. I don't know if the camera will pick it up. I actually did scratch it. I think I was cutting some cardboard that you see that those couple of minor scratches on the tip. I must have cut something gritty. You see there also some minor scratches, but doesn't show wear very much. It's actually very nice, and the stonewash Rick does is really beautiful. I would love to know how he does his titanium stonewash, because that is really out of this world. I love it. Really pretty stonewash on the titanium. And the price, yes, they are expensive. If you lucky and you get it for MSRP directly from Rick or from somewhere, which is almost next to impossible unless you win the lottery on the knife shows. What are they, $375 if I remember right? I think so, around that, under like little under 400. I think that's worth it. If you look at other knives like Sebenza's and other higher end price, absolutely worth it. If you are into this really high class, good quality knives. In my opinion, if you going for the street price on these, what is it, 700, 800, 900? It's a lot. It's really a lot. But at the same time, it's people paying it. I've talked to many people. A lot of people say that they think it's even worth that money. In my opinion, no. It's a little too much for me. It's a great knife, but I wouldn't pay that money for it. And but at the same time, it's a knife that if you treat well and you don't really ruin it, you can pretty much get most of the money, if not all, back if you decide to sell it. So that's always a good thing. And am I gonna sell it? I don't know. I think I'm gonna keep it because it is a really cool knife, even though I'm not gonna be using it much more, because I really fell in love with that Anso and with the CKC, and I really like them. And but it's definitely a cool thing to have. It's like at this time I do want to keep it, so I will keep it. Unless somebody offers me to trade it for a non-flipper, I would love to get the non-flipper, but I doubt that that's gonna happen. But very cool knife, functions well. Like I said, I just wanted to point out a couple things that maybe some of you wouldn't think about before until I brought it up, because you don't hear a lot of people talking about that, about how thick the grind is and how this is a little small on that thing. I don't know if people talk about it. I don't really never watch reviews or something about these knives. Just wanted to say my opinions about it, my experiences with it. Carries beautifully, works beautifully. Like I said, little bummed out about the steel. We'll see if that will improve. Hopefully, yes. I don't think that rig would have some problems with the heat treat or something. I'm pretty sure that has to be top job. And we'll see how that behaves. You see some size comparison. Its mini grip Tillion is almost identical in size. See, tenacious, quite a bit larger. Paramilitary, a lot larger. But the funny thing is, the blade is almost identical. It's just the handle makes it look so much bigger on the paramilitary. So another one thing, one of the reasons why I really like Rick is there is no hype. Rick, you never hear or never see some kind of commercials or something like high performance knives, the best knives in the world, all that. Never. It's just this down to earth guy who's just doing his thing, and pretty much all the hype about his knives is because they are good. People love them, and people created the hype, not him. And the hype is justified. They are good knives, and also the same kind of direction. These knives go for $700, $800, $900. Yet Rick still sells them for his MSRP, which I really admire. Knowing that, hey, I could be selling this for $600 and people would still buy it, and probably thank me for selling it for them for that money, and he still sells them for his MSRP. I respect that a lot. It shows the character. I really like to see that. I think a lot of people wouldn't do that. I think most people actually wouldn't do that. Knowing that you can sell something a lot higher than you normally sell easily and still keep your prices, I respect that a lot. I think it's really cool. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you, I don't know, get some new points or ideas about these knives. And I'm not the best at this high-end stuff because I never was really into them. I'm perfectly happy with using $60 reptilian or $100 paramilitary, like one of my favorite knives. But once I got to use that, I was lucky enough to got them, these little bear knives, and why not? I'll definitely use them and enjoy using them. And if you really want to judge the user, I'm telling you, like even $100 knife will perform the same as this knife. It's just more of the novelty thing, but in reality, any good $100 knife will perform the same. It's just the novelty, the little show off in every one of us. That's why you want the better stuff. And it always comes to the person, like how much is he willing to pay for a good knife. Some people think $30 is too much for a knife. Some people think $500 is nothing. So it always comes down to the person. So I hope you enjoy my little rambling, guys. Thank you for watching. Take care, stay safe, and remember, don't cut yourself.